a shame.
So I had thoughts on the Atlantis fan casting that we were kind of
Once
doing.
again.
Yeah, because again, it's what I do when I get bored at work. So
If you were not aware, we are fan casting the cast of Atlantis for a live action
It was a couple
what
episodes
do you call it?
ago.
Reboot. Yeah.
It's an ongoing process. So far we had was it Tom Holland as Milo?
Mm-hmm.
And what's his name? John Bernthal as Commander Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that's about.
And we have
it.
Dave
You know-
DeVito as the mole rat man.
Yeah, but I want to come back to that because I have another suggestion.
Oh,
You know the captain, the female, I think she's pink with like short pink hair and things like that.
Is she? I always thought in my memory she's a blonde.
Yeah, was it not Rourke's second in command?
You know what? I'm thinking of
She had to be
Treasure
Russian.
Planet. That's what I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Captain Amelia.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of.
Who, I mean, Kate Blanchett, obviously.
I was gonna say Mila Kunis. Is that her name?
Really?
Mila. Yeah.
Mila Kunis. Okay, I can see that.
If she had like, you'd have to give her some like stilettos or something because she's a small girl.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
but also yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like after seeing Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok, it's like yes,
True.
yes.
Very true.
Perfect. But yeah, so as Dr. Sweet, the medic.
Yep.
Mike Coulter.
Is he the French guy, the medic?
No,
Oh, the French guy's the demolitionist. Sorry,
he's Italian.
I'm very confused because we're talking about that hitman.
No, yeah,
that random hitman guy.
You know, what?
We're doing that man episode. There was one of the guards
Oh,
who looked like the
right.
demolition guy.
Oh my god, yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes, no. What?
So I'm awful
I don't remember
with
the
like
medic.
I'm awful with names and faces. So like when you just said whatever
I remember the
actor
rat man.
that is,
Remember the demolitionist. I remember obviously Milo.
the mechanic. The little.
Oh yeah, there's the mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She,
So,
does he know that?
Yeah.
Doctor
Yeah, she is.
Doctor Sweet, that guy, big African American guy,
I don't remember him.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
remember
honest.
him, but what's the actor that you?
Mike Coulter,
Yeah, but
Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
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 So,
Seen Luke Cage?
Spartan Jameson Locke in Halo 5.
you know what? I may as well just Google it because.
Yes, Google Mike Coulter, and while you're doing that, I will tell you that was it where are we looking? Vinny, the demolitions guy, the Italian one.
Right.
Robert Pattinson.
I'm trying. Brain going from images of celebrities.
Batman.
Yeah,
The
but
new Batman.
in the
new
animation, is it the
Batman.
guy with the beard or
Hey?
with the moustache? Is that the guy in the beard with the moustache?
He has the goatee in Luke Cage, yeah. But I think he's clean shaven now.
No, not Mike Coulter. I'm talking about what you're talking about now. But like in
Robert
the animation,
Robert Pattinson.
no, in the animation, the character,
Oh right.
She had a really
Who?
nice
Wait, which one?
moustache.
the one that you've just cast Robert Pattinson for.
Vinny.
The
Vinny.
demolitionist.
Yeah.
Does he have a fat stash in there?
I think
That's
so.
what I'm
does.
saying. Is
He
it
does.
that guy with?
I
Yeah,
think he
that
does.
guy. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like
Or
after seeing Robert
You good?
Pattinson.
Robert.
Robert Battenbat.
Roberto.
After seeing him in Tenet, I think he would be perfect for that.
or
Or
Shia LaBeouf, because he
Ooh.
in Fury he played that sort of character.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I like
Shia.
saw the
I think I'm
moustache,
more
I
on
was
the
like,
Shia
wait.
LaBeouf
Ooh.
train right now.
And paired with Vinny as Mole, Pete Davidson.
Hold up. You're not gonna get any response out of me until I can
Yeah.
like see
I need an image
visuals.
of Pete Davidson. I don't remember what he looks like.
Have you seen The King of Staten Island?
No, I haven't.
It's very good.
Isn't that a prison island?
Okay,
No.
so Mole is that
No,
I
character.
thought that was a prison
No,
island.
you're thinking of Rikers Island. Staten Island is a
yes.
borough of New York.
You know.
Mole is that character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Who would you have it as?
Pete Davidson. You might know him because he was
Oh yeah.
married or attached to pop star.
I know the name.
I can see
I
his
just can't
face.
I can't think of the face.
I'm totally blanking on her name.
Margaret Qualley. They
No.
dated for
Show me
2
the
months
picture
in
of the man.
2019.
Hey, Pete Davidson. Kind
Oh
of
yeah.
real tall, lanky, kind of weird. He's a comedian.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he was on Saturday Night Live for ages.
Oh yeah.
He
Since,
seems like he'd be too.
it says
tall
since
for
1975, but is that when it started? I got asked if I was born in the 80s today.
Seriously?
Genuinely. I was talking to this lady, and she was talking about something in the 80s. I can't remember what the conversation was now, but she was like, "Yeah, in like 1980 something. Were you around then?" And I was just like, "No, I wasn't even a thought in the 80s. My parents were still in high school, man. Like, no, I definitely was not."
Oh dear, that's
Yikes.
shocking.
I was like, "Geez, I'm starting to show my age." I was like, "That would make me 40, ma'am." Like,
Ariana Grande, that's her name. Yeah, they were.
Some thick ass peaks here going on. God dang.
And yes, I think Pete Davidson is with Margaret Qualley at the moment. She's pretty good. She was in
Dude.
yeah, stand in front of the camera.
Death Stranding.
Let's
that's
turn
why she
down
was
yours
in that.
because yours was higher up before for the episode. Like
Okay,
both you were speaking into it, so that should be better.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pete Davidson as Mole.
I mean, he's got the look. He's got like, the facial
it's a
look.
very different take on the character, but I think like that's something you need.
It could.
To
I feel like
up.
he'd play it well, but he's just too tall. Like I don't think he's that tall anyway.
Okay.
But like,
It could be played differently.
I think like his lankiness is weird. Like
He's like an insect.
He's a bit of a weird looking dude, and I think
Yeah.
that kind of like is more important.
either
than-
that or Danny DeVito.
I mean, if you get Danny DeVito, that would be
Gosh.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think a bit more realistically here.
Yeah.
I wonder if Danny DeVito would even do it.
Yeah, he'd probably. Like,
Does Danny
that's the
DeVito even do
thing.
acting anymore? Like, oh, I don't know.
I mean, he's still in Always Sunny.
That's the thing. I was saying to Mum as well. I was like, "Oh, Meryl Streep hasn't made a movie for a while." And then I googled it. Her last movie was in 2020, and I was like, "Ah,
Jeez.
okay." And she made one in 2019 as well, and I was like, "I have not seen her in anything as of like, I think like Into the Woods and things like that was the last sort of stuff I saw her in."
So is oh boy, where are we? What's her name? I'm sorry, I'm looking serious. Audrey Ramirez, the mechanic. Ana de Armas.
Photo right now.
I don't even know if I'm
I'm
gonna be
so,
able to
I'm
Google
so
that.
bad
Have
at matching
Yeah.
names to faces. I know faces, but
Have you seen Knives Out?
No.
Have you seen Blade Runner 2049?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
I have. Yes.
Joy. The hologram.
Joy.
The AI woman.
Oh god.
Okay, what's her name?
Ana de Armas.
It's been a while.
She is. Oh, I want to say Chilean.
Gillian.
Yes. Whereas the
Oh.
character is.
Oh, she actually looks perfect.
Yeah.
No.
The character is originally Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And she's older than the original role. I think she's supposed to be like 16, whereas de Armas is early 30s, I think.
Nah,
32.
she can play it
32.
off easy.
Yeah. But I think that's an excellent choice.
The whole cast would probably look like it's getting aged up anyway, I would say.
Yeah. Well, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Is
She does not look 32.
Cookie the chef? You know, the old prospector kind of character, old western kind of.
I think I vaguely remember. I really need to go look back at these characters. Like, holy shit, there's a lot more than I thought there were. I'll be honest. Fucking hell.
That guy.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Too close.
I'm gonna throw you another curveball along the lines of Pete Davidson. Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
I'm sorry.
Like completely change the character. Like keep the like kind of southern vibe going, but completely change everything else about the character. Because he's a very like minor character in the original story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a really interesting kind of shake up.
Could be.
Yeah,
Could
no.
be.
I don't know. I like it.
Seems
Also,
like because like.
sorry, how are you saying,
Ana de Armas.
no, before that, the one that Isaac Mila Kunis would be good as? When we talk, but Kate Blanchett?
Captain Amelia from Treasure Planet.
Yeah, but no, Kate Blanchett. She'd be good as the blonde lady. I just saw that photo with the bad character. Kate would be good for her.
Yeah. Oh no, Charlize Theron.
Who?
He's throwing out names
God.
left and right, and I'm like, who are these people?
How do you spell this?
CHARLIZE.
How do you retain people's names?
Theron.
I pay attention.
Oh,
Yes.
her.
Yeah. She's a South African actress.
Yes.
How do you not? Come on.
Yes.
Get with
Okay.
Yes, I can see
I
that.
feel a little bit of a. I can't even remember the term for it, but anyway,
But yes, it didn't even occur to me until now. Yes, Charlize Theron as Helga. Yes.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I was just staring off into space here for like a solid 5
she's
seconds.
4 centimeters taller than me. Fun fact. She's
Nice.
tall. She's a
Dang.
tall lady.
Whole lemon.
Um,
It is starting to rain.
and
no.
my last casting choice for now. There's still some more that need to be thought over, but as Wilhelmina Packard, the radio operator.
Mm.
Who else? Betty White.
Is she the one who's always
Anna.
smoking cigarettes?
The elderly
radio
chain
operator?
smoking radio
Yeah.
operator who sleeps in the nude. Yeah.
See, I can remember that character for
Yeah.
some reason very well, very vividly.
I sleep in the nude. Like Betty White, 100%.
Yeah, that'd be good.
At 100 years old, she's gonna come back for an Atlantis reboot.
Of course. Oh.
Okay, yeah. So that's my Atlantis casting choices.
Honestly, that's pretty solid. Like, you brought up actors and actresses that I don't even remember anymore.
I don't know like the big names because I'm so bad at retaining
Yeah,
names.
I-
Like I know faces, but names I just don't. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I tried to get some like big name stars in there, but also round out the cast with some lesser known
Yeah.
folks who are actually really talented at what they do.
It's pretty good.
And over 10 minutes in, welcome to the ZeroFunction podcast.
Yeah. Woo.
The podcast with no
Sidetracked
brain
once
cells are
again.
present, as you can see.
Did you hit the camera
Well,
when
yeah.
you stood up?
Yep.
Can you push it back?
Woman. Unless you've moved back slightly.
No, I haven't moved at all.
I think this is about the longest that we've gone before getting to the intro.
No, we talked for like 20 minutes in one of the episodes.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, one of the episodes we did. I don't know if it was my one that corrupted or something, but we talked for like 20 minutes before we
Oh, it's
started.
entirely possible.
Yeah.
I'm your host for this week, Lee. I'm here with Conall,
Me.
Jen.
Hello.
Conall has been laid out for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I've been sick for like the entire week. And
Not with COVID, don't worry, it's all fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like 99% sure.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. We would hope. It's not good. Nasal passage bloked, blocked and everything, and I'm not having a good time. But anyway, I am here.
Yeah,
Still.
you were having some pretty gnarly breathing
You
trouble
left
last
me
Yeah.
for the entire week at work alone.
night.
Oh
Just had to
no.
work by myself.
Oh
Didn't
no.
have anyone to talk about anime with.
Oh my god.
What a shame.
Oh, it was a hard week.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I was at home lying in bed watching anime.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yikes.
Yeah, so you'd have something to talk about next week.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
of
We've got so
course,
much to
yeah.
talk about now.
Oh dear.
God.
Right, so we are back with the life and times of John Wayne Gacy.
Gacy.
Last week we covered his early life and the events leading up
Yes.
to his period of great activity.
If
Gacy
you haven't
origins.
seen that, check out last week's episode.
Yes,
Yeah.
last week's episode, John Wayne Gacy, part 1. What do we call it? Gacy Origins?
Gacy
Something
Origins.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Yep.
this one will be
Did you
Gacy
choo-
Begins.
Did you choose a good thumbnail? I haven't seen what you uploaded.
It was alright. It wasn't anything
I think it
amazing.
worked.
Why
It
do
was
I feel
fine.
like I'm
I
gonna
have-
go through all the videos and like re-upload?
But I
the
found an
thumbnails?
actual like alright image editing software, so like I could actually put like outlines or better text on it instead of just default.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was alright.
Yes.
Oh no, that's a pretty solid thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was alright.
Yeah.
Yes, I also have pictures for the thumbnails for this episode and the next one. This is definitely going to be a three-parter, because I wasn't quite sure until we did last week's episode how much we could actually get through in that time, and especially with that detour that we just took in the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a...
Pretty much guaranteeing a third part of that.
Yeah, and there's a lot to get through. So, this week we're going to be covering specifically the murders
What are those?
and the events surrounding
Finally,
that.
the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Juicy.
Yeah, so...
It's weird that I'm like, so I don't want to say into because everyone just takes it weird, but like I really like them at like murder stuff because it makes you like think about like how did they get away with this and like they get away with a lot before they get caught.
They really do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Seems like the mass murders who have gone away with stuff without getting caught for a very long time. It's in ages where people were far too just trusting and they less careful. I could say.
Well, that's the
of
thing.
things.
Like I keep saying, like millennials, if someone knocks on the door and they're not expecting someone, they will like pretend they're not home and hide, or they'll like turn off their music, or they'll wait until that person leaves. Whereas like in the 70s and things like that, they were like, oh.
You say that, but if somebody knocks on our door, my mum will hide and make me go open the door.
Because you're mad.
well,
That's bullshit. I'd rather not. I'd rather just not answer the door. But she's like, go answer the door, Conall. It's like
That was like when I was at my boyfriend's house this weekend at like 3-4 a.m. Some really like loud noise happened. Kind at the beginning, it sounded like someone revving their engine, but then it just got louder and it literally just went and it just got super loud, and then it just cut.
Ugh.
And I made him go up and go see what it was.
that's very weird.
What was it?
What?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
Both him and his grand went outside, and went to like check it out. There was nothing up.
That's weird.
It
What the
it
fuck?
was super loud as well. Like it sounded like the engine was like right outside the window, and then it just cut, and there was nothing there. And I was
Aliens.
like, I'm about to die.
Oh no.
But yeah, so yeah, regarding the difficulty with which the the fact that a lot of these serial killers, especially in the 70s, the way that they got away with it was because
Blatant bullshit.
well, no, I mean part of it is like you said that people back then were a lot more trusting.
Yeah.
And the idea of a serial killer wasn't like in the public zeitgeist at this time. People didn't really there wasn't that idea out there that someone could do something like this.
I guess by that point, like, media was getting really big by that point, and information sharing was getting really big. So before that, people wouldn't really had the idea that could happen, and if it did,
Well,
they wouldn't have really gotten as many details about it. They're like, oh, yeah, that happened.
I feel like
I
a lot
guess.
of, like, because as we were saying, like, a lot of the serial killers are, like, self-obsessed and things like that. So when media started becoming a thing, they were like, I need to get in the paper. I want to be seen in the public, da-da-da. Like, even though they didn't necessarily say, like, oh, Connell's killed something, they'll say there's this mysterious killer.
What?
And, like, they know it's them. I'm just using you as an example.
Yeah, and some
How dare you accuse
serial
me?
killers did that was definitely a motive in their crimes.
Yeah.
Just
They
many
just
different
wanted to
reasons,
be
but
seen.
yeah.
But yeah, the other reason that that a lot of serial killers were able to get away with their crimes so easily during this time is that
They worked for the police.
no, it was that police departments, especially in the US, didn't share evidence between them. Like they wouldn't share this information between separate departments because
It just seems absurd.
well, it was because each individual department wanted the glory of catching these criminals.
Yes.
It wasn't about protecting people or stopping them. It was about. I mean, it was about stopping them, but doing it within the department.
Yeah.
That's so dog shit.
I mean, that
Yeah.
probably explains how Ted Bundy managed to go from, like, 4 different states
Yes,
to
absolutely.
just chill.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing. You don't even need to go, like, to a different country. You just cross the borderline, you're sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Gacy Part 2. So,
Where did we leave off? Do you have, like, your solid
We were getting
notes
into the
or-
first murder, weren't we?
all right. So yeah, if you remember from last time, Gacy was
Touching children.
all right. It's just
I'm not wrong.
yeah, I mean, no,
Jumping
you're
off.
not, but...
jumping off immediately with that. So he's been arrested for sodomy.
Yeah.
He's served 18 months of a 10-year sentence. He's been released and
That's right,
he's returned to Chicago to live with his mother, taking a job as a short order cook in a restaurant, and with financial assistance from his mother, he has bought a ranch house near the village of Norwich at 8213 West Summerdale Avenue.
That's it.
Right, yes, so his murder house that we
Yes.
left off with.
Yes,
right.
this is the house where he will
Okay.
reside from 1971 until December 1978, when he's arrested. And this is where 26 of his 33 victims will be buried.
7 years.
Yep.
28 murders in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Well,
guess
33.
Oh, yeah, well,
33 murders that we know of,
yeah.
that are confirmed.
Kind of impressive. That's
Honestly,
a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot. With
Oh, you
that's-
have no
in
idea.
a shortish time
That's
frame.
like 4 murders a year,
Is it? I can't do math.
roughly. Like,
Yeah.
because if it's 28, it's 3 murders a year.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Plus
So, before we jump back into the timeline,
one more murder on top.
yeah, before we jump back into the timeline of Gacy's life, let's talk about how he did the murders.
Oh no, 7 times 4 is 28, isn't it?
We're
Sorry,
not still
yeah.
on the math.
So it's 4.
Are you two even paying
It's-
attention to me?
Yeah,
I
but
was.
4 to 5
Alright,
murders a
okay.
year, yeah.
Until she spoke and I
Well, 'cause
immediately
you said
forgot
plus
what
1,
you said.
and I was like, I'm pretty sure it rounds out, but yeah, no, okay, so 4 to 5 murders a year.
Sakes.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, on average, it doesn't,
Yeah, it doesn't
really
equate
pan
out,
like
but
that.
yeah,
But roughly.
Sometimes he had busy years, sometimes he had little slow years. And
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
in a slump for a year.
Yeah. So,
he just goes hard and kills 10 people.
oh, excuse me. So yeah, at least 33 murders, all young men and boys.
Yep.
26 of them were buried in the crawl space underneath his house.
Yep.
Um,
Actually, but before you start, do you know what I don't get? Like, remember how we said one of his motives could have been, like, from his dad and things like that? Didn't him and his dad made up, didn't they?
yes.
Yeah, but before that, there was
Yeah,
a lot.
Gacy
happened.
he probably carried a lot of repressed emotions and, psychological trauma from the abuse that he was subject to as a child.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, especially with his dad, saying that he was going to turn out gay and,
Yeah.
he's a little sissy boy and all that kind of thing. Especially in the 50s when he would have been growing up.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, just probably would have had an indelible
a
psychological
lot
effect
more,
on him,
a lot more impact back then, probably.
Yeah, which is reflected in his choice of victim.
Yeah.
So yeah, his general MO was to lure a lone victim to his house. But there were a few occasions where he had 2 victims, which he called doubles, and they were often lured with the promise of a job with his contracting company, which we'll get into, or with drugs, booze, being paid money for sex, that kind of thing. They were sometimes people he knew, other times they were just random people off the street, usually picked up at the bus station in Chicago.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were forcibly abducted. Others were lured into his car under the pretense that he was a police officer. Like he had a badge, like a fake badge, that he would use to lure them
But
in.
not a
Right.
police car?
Nope, just an old
He's
black
like, oh, yeah,
Oldsmobile,
it's just an unmarked car.
Oldsmobile. There.
Yeah, that's a lot of different methods. Although he does have the same type he goes after, but that's a lot of different methods to employ.
Gotta keep it fresh.
Yeah, but over that number of victims, it's not really. It's kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
that's
like
something
six
that...
or
It's a fairly narrow MO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So once they were at his house, he would generally, try to ply them with drugs, booze, try to gain their trust, and then he would do what he called the handcuff trick.
The handcuff trick.
Yeah. This
Sounds very sexual.
yeah. This is where it starts getting even more skeezy. So what he would do is he would bring out a pair of handcuffs under the pretense of showing them a magic trick. And what he would do is he would take the handcuff key and hide it between his fingers, and then he would cuff his hands behind his back, his own hands, and then using the key he would release himself, without showing the key, and then he would convince them to try the trick. He would get them to cuff their hands behind their back, and then once they were cuffed, he would basically like dangle the key in front of them and say something to the effect of, "The trick is you have to have the key."
Oh.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're in danger. You're just like, oh no.
And that is when he would proceed to torture and rape the victim.
Yeah.
That's like a
Yeah.
main story villain line there.
Yeah.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, it's not nice. Most of the time he would begin by sitting on their chest and forcing them to fillet him. Yes, we all know what fellatio is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No. I
Good.
just zoned out for a second. Yep.
Yes, audience, you can Google that because I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah.
He would burn them with cigars, sit on the back and make them give him horse rides.
Okay. That was
Yeah.
kind of
And
Left field?
yeah. Left field.
he would violate them with foreign objects.
Oh.
Yes. And he would often cuff their ankles to a plank, a 2x4. And he would often force them to crawl to the bathroom or drag them there, and then like repeatedly dunk their heads in the bathtub to drown them.
Ah.
Yeah. Not like properly drown them. Like none of them died from drowning, as far as I know.
Right.
But
Just
It's the way
waterboard
to
them.
yeah,
way to mess
he,
with them.
he would partially drown them and revive them.
Yeah.
Often
Right.
repeatedly. Yeah.
Jesus.
And the actual murder method, like the actual killing, was done with something that Gacy called the rope trick.
The rope trick.
Yeah, so he would take a rope tourniquet, right? He
Okay.
would put it around their neck, so it's basically just a loop of rope, and then he would use the handle of a hammer. He would stick it in the back of the loop, and then twist it to tighten it.
Oh.
Yeah, until
Oh.
they choked to death.
So what, like what do you call it? Anaconda? No. What's
He was strangling them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Damn.
Yeah. So he called that the rope trick.
Strangling
And-
them with a constricted rope, pretty much.
well constrictor? That's it.
Yeah, and he would often tell them that this is the last trick.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that just
Oh.
sent the wrong sort of shiver down my spine. Oh no. You know, you're right. Is there a movie about this? Because there should be.
I think there's been at least one movie about Gacy.
He's not very creative with his names, is he?
Blah.
It's
Nah.
like, the rope trick. It's like, come on, man.
Well, because
Yeah.
they were always
Why don't you just
young
call it
boys.
like the boa constrictor, bro?
Yeah, and there was
That actually sounds pretty sick.
The boa
and there was at least one victim where, as he was strangling them, he recited Psalm 23 from the Bible. Would you like to hear that?
Yes.
The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
That's a long psalm to recite while you're killing someone.
It takes a long time to strangle someone.
Well, yeah, that is true. Well, I mean, it
You're right.
depends. Because if you grab someone in a headlock, it only takes 10 seconds for them to pass out.
That's a
It
long
takes
time.
a lot longer than that.
Well, I mean,
Like,
to kill them,
like-
yeah, but...
No. Like even to knock someone out from strangulation, it takes like a good minute.
I guess it
Yeah?
depends if they're.
Alright. Okay.
Hold on.
What am I trying to say?
Let's do this.
If they're fighting back or not, like, and these people wouldn't be able to really like fight back.
I am on a watch
my water.
list.
Don't be on a watch list, please.
Too late. Oh,
No, put me on a
God.
watch list.
No, we can use these.
I'm dying.
You can use the podcast as evidence of my innocence.
See, it can take less than 10 seconds for a person to lose consciousness as a result of strangulation, and death can occur in just under 5 minutes.
Jesus.
Okay. All right.
I knew this.
Okay. Yeah. No. I was under the impression of I was under the impression
Like,
it
5
took
minutes is a
while.
long time to hold someone in a headlock, but, like, just for them to stop fighting, 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I can see that.
All right. You know what? I'm going to take your word for it.
Thank you.
But yes, to kill someone by strangulation, yeah, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
a pretty fucked method to do
yeah.
so.
And yeah, some of them died from. So aside from the rope trick, there were a few victims that died from asphyxiation, from cloth gags being stuffed into their throats.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, some of the bodies were found with cloth gags like
Ew.
in the throat. So
That'd be
yeah.
weird. Like, just
Uh,
constantly gagging while trying to breathe. No, nah.
Yeah. So the bodies were usually stored under his bed for around 24 hours, and then they were.
Why didn't he, like, pre-dig the holes?
Hey.
Why didn't he just pre-dig the holes? So we can
Some
just...
of them were, and we'll get to that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, he would just have the body under his bed for reasons. Yeah, I don't know why.
He didn't do any, like, necrophilia, did he?
No. Not
He
as far as I
just
know.
wanted a company?
I think very occasionally he would like cuddle with the body.
Yeah.
Afterwards. You know, like the morgue incident from the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he only climb on top of the body in that Morgan?
He climbed in the coffin with the body.
Ah, right. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I was trying to remember what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't actually do anything with it.
Yeah.
other than that.
He just climbed.
Yeah. So yeah, he would bury them in the crawl space, and you know, you occasionally pour quicklime down there to make them decompose faster. Yeah. And
what's
some of them were taken to the garage and embalmed before being buried.
Embalmed.
But
Seems like a lot of
doesn't
work.
that have the opposite effect?
Yes, I don't know. like
He just does what he wants.
I'm not even gonna pretend to try to understand
You know
this
what?
guy's
Fair.
psyche.
Fair.
You know,
Mm.
just yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Whack.
Yeah, so 1971, we're in Chicago. He's moved into this house with his mother. He's building up a reputation with the neighbours as a kind and helpful man.
Lovely old man.
Yeah, just
Young
a
man.
community-minded fellow. Yeah, they maybe thought he was a bit weird, but people kind of minded their own business back then.
Yeah, community mind until he reduces the number of the community.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Didn't we have a population of 400 a little while ago? Like,
Yeah.
Oh no,
Move that town.
Norwich was around had a population of around 15,000.
Yeah. I mean, that's
in
still
the
small.
70s.
Yeah.
That's still very small.
A little bit.
It's enough to murder.
But also,
Yeah.
it was in like the Chicago municipal area, so it wasn't like an isolated community.
Yeah.
Like, just this area was that population.
Yeah.
So, Gacy's moved into the house with his mother. She's helped buy it.
With his mother.
Yes. So that was part of his parole. His part of the conditions of his release that he moved back to Chicago to live with his mother.
Yeah, but I thought he then just moved.
No. He one of his fellow JCs who picked him up from prison.
Yeah.
He said to him, I'm not going back to Chicago. I'm going back to Waterloo, and I'm gonna re-establish myself. But
Yeah.
then he ended up going back to Chicago anyway.
Oh, okay.
Like within 24 hours of saying that he was back in Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, he's moved in with his mother. And in August of 1971, very shortly after moving in, he became engaged to Carol Hoff, who was
yes.
a divorcee with 2 young daughters.
Is this not the girl he was dating?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because his first wife divorced him.
Yeah, like she divorced him immediately.
Like during.
Oh,
the
because
jail
he had
stuff.
kids, didn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah,
had.
he had 2
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, okay, yeah. Now I'm back
Yes,
on the train. Yeah.
two children with his first wife.
Yeah.
She divorced him after he was arrested
Yeah.
on the sodomy charge, and he never saw them again.
Yeah,
Like they were
yeah,
completely
yeah.
out of the picture. So let me just pull up my other notes. Where is it?
Well, at least she wouldn't have any regrets about divorcing him.
No, definitely not.
at all.
So at this point, he's working as a short order cook in a restaurant
Yeah.
in Chicago. And also in 1971, he establishes his own construction business. It's called PDM Contractors. It stands for Painting, Decorating and Maintenance.
Mhm.
And he's working there part-time. His probation officer approved all of this. So he was working in the evenings on his construction contracts and as a cook during the day.
Yep.
And started off, doing things like minor repair work, sign writing, concrete pouring, redecorating.
And his wife and his mum both live with him in that little house that he bought.
His mother moved out of the house shortly before they were married,
Okay.
which was July of 1972.
Okay.
I thought the mum had to stay there for the whole parole thing, though. What?
Well, I guess he's married now, so.
Odd.
It was... Boy, it was my other tab now. You're making me switch between my notes tabs. It was...
We're asking the hard questions.
Hell yeah.
My eyes hurt.
No, it was, his parole ended in October of 1971.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking at the cable. I was like, oh dear.
No.
So this is a couple months after he got engaged.
Yep.
His parole ended and his criminal convictions were sealed. So
Okay.
yeah, he
Cool.
didn't have to disclose that to employers or anything.
Okay.
So initially minor work with PDM. You would eventually expand to do stuff like interior design, remodeling, appliance installation, landscaping. And that would become...
He's got some experience on that.
Yeah, well, that would become quite
Oh,
a
no.
successful business.
Yeah.
Like within the next few years, and a lot of his employees were high school students and young men.
Of course.
Yeah. And
Classic.
of course, this is where he got at least a few of his victims from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he was literally like just what do you call it? Like breeding his victims almost, because he was like getting them into stock and then just he could just constantly rotate them out for like people who want work. Oh, it's gonna kill a few.
Yeah.
People who want work.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
A little bit. Yeah.
We can't be having you having benefits. Gotta get rid of you.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we'll get into that once we actually
Oh man.
get to the murders.
Yeah.
And yeah, he would often proposition his workers for sex.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he would sometimes insist on them doing him sexual favors in return for pay rises, promotions. He would lend them
Nice.
vehicles.
He was the OG like sleep with your teacher for an A.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Fuck's sakes.
Yeah, and he, at least on one occasion, claimed to own guns. And one employee, he said, he said to one of his employees, do you know how easy it would be to get one of my guns and kill you? And how easy it would be to get rid of the body?
Oh.
I don't know what the context for that quote was, but he apparently did say that.
Maybe
Still not great.
maybe the kid like declined. Because that's the thing. Surely some of these people would have been like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably, yeah. Probably, definitely, yeah.
I would assume the majority of them said no.
Yeah. But if you think about it, 33 victims. So like, if like a lot of them are saying no, how many people was he like? Yo, like I don't need a pay rise that badly.
Yeah, probably
No.
quite a few.
And surely like
Imagine I can imagine you're at that job and then you see like your coworker get a pay rise. And you're like, oh, you slept with the boss, didn't you?
yeah.
It's like, what sort of environment is that?
Like
for
that's the thing.
a-
Surely the employees talk like, because you know you have friends at work and whatever. Surely one of them would be like, "Yo, the boss like propositioned me for sex," and someone goes, "Me too." Like,
Yeah.
Same.
surely by the I guess they didn't have the same systems that we have in place now, where it's like, this
I
is
guess.
wrong.
I mean, it's entirely possible that word got around and, people just didn't care. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the attitude was towards that.
banging
kind of thing.
70s.
Shame, really.
Yeah, well. And it's around this time that he also got involved in politics. Specifically with the local Democratic Party. Yeah.
So if you're gonna kill someone, get involved in politics and maybe landscaping.
Yes.
Oh, again, something
Obviously.
interesting comes of that later on, which we will get
God.
to. Excuse
Robitussin.
Um,
Robitussin.
but yeah, what?
Just showing my age there.
Yeah.
Robitus. I haven't heard of
But yeah, he would
Robitussin in
offer
fucking
he would offer
years.
to have his employees clean the local party headquarters for like no charge. So that was like his in to politics. And remember, he was also involved in local politics back in
Yeah,
Iowa.
yeah.
So yeah, he's
He's a
Yeah.
he's a well respected man.
yeah. Yeah, and he really was, which is why people didn't really suspect him
Yeah.
until the very end.
He's like any well-respected politician. Harsh.
Yeah. So, coming up on the 3rd of January 1972, this is when his first murder takes place. Yeah. So
Just after New Year's.
So the evening before, January 2nd, he was at a family party, and after that, the early hours of the 3rd, he decided to drive to the Chicago Civic Center, where there was a display of ice sculptures. And while he was there, he lured Timothy Jack McCoy, 16 years old, from the Greyhound bus terminal.
What was a 16-year-old? This was the 70s, but what was a 16-year-old
You just answered your own question.
doing at a bus stop?
Catching a bus.
But you said early hours of the morning, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming like 6, 7-ish. Like,
Well, I think it's all but the last 2 murders took place between 3 and 6 a.m. So we're talking
Okay.
Early.
really early, like maybe only an hour or 2 after midnight.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, 16-year-old Timothy McCoy. He's at the bus terminal in Chicago, super early in the morning, and Gacy lures him into his car. And he.
How?
you need a ride, kid? It's midnight.
McCoy was traveling through Chicago at the time. He was going from Michigan to Omaha.
Well, I guess people used to move out quite young as well to like get jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a much more transient time
Yeah.
back then. People could just disappear.
It's like,
whenever
I want to
they wanted.
move. Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
'Cause there was no electronic surveillance. People didn't have cell phones. They didn't
Yeah.
have this device in their pocket tracking them
Yeah.
all the time.
Like, that's the thing.
There
If
wa-
any of us wanted to disappear off the map, it's like, oh, just check
It's
their
a whole
Snapchats,
process.
check their, like, thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be very difficult to
No
do.
internet, no social media. Nothing like that. So people could disappear super easily, which is another reason that serial killers was super prolific back then.
Yeah.
Because it was just easy. It was easy to find victims and not to get caught.
Yeah, if someone just doesn't show up to work on Monday, you're like,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird.
So Gacy took McCoy on a sightseeing tour of Chicago.
At midnight?
Yeah.
What?
And
So
then,
here you see a building that is black because we can't see anything through the lack of light. So here you see another silhouette of a building.
This is Chicago, we're probably downtown, well-lit city area.
Even then, though.
It's Chicago.
Sure. Yeah.
There's,
Okay.
there's sights to see. And he's a
There are things
he's
there.
a teenager traveling the country.
He's like, well.
Yeah.
And remember, Gacy has been clinically diagnosed as a psychopath at
Yeah,
this
true.
point. So
Yeah.
he knows what to say.
Yeah.
Um,
I love how when they diagnose him, they're like, he'll probably do this again. And instead of keeping him in an institution, they're just like, well, we'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He'll be right.
Yeah.
So he, after the sightseeing tour, he drove him to his home with the promise that he could spend the night, and that he would drive him back to the station in the morning in time to catch his bus.
In time to catch his...
Yeah.
Was he just planning on sleeping at the bus station all night?
Yeah.
It's cold.
Once again. Why?
Sure they like motel... Well, I guess...
Well,
it's probably broke.
that's probably why he went with Gacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because he offered him a place to sleep for the night.
Yeah.
According to Gacy, he woke early the next morning, and McCoy was standing in his bedroom doorway, and he had a kitchen knife in his hand. So,
I'm sorry, the kid
yes,
had it? Wow, okay.
yes, he's standing in the bedroom doorway.
Interesting.
Gacy jumped up and basically rushed him because, what would you think if you saw that?
Yeah.
This guy's about to attack me. McCoy put his hands up, in kind of a surrender gesture, and in doing so, accidentally cut Gacy's forearm. And Gacy managed to twist the knife out of his hand, banged his head on the bedroom wall, kicked him against the wardrobe. At which point McCoy kicked Gacy in the stomach, and Gacy managed to grab McCoy and wrestle him to the floor, and then stabbed him repeatedly in the chest with the knife.
Oh.
Yeah.
To be fair, maybe that is maybe he wasn't going to be a murderer. Because why is that 16-year-old kid that he's promised a bed and everything to standing in his bedroom door with a knife? So maybe that kid is what made him snap.
Well, as McCoy was dying, Gacy washed the knife off in the bathroom, went to the kitchen, and saw an open carton of eggs and a slab of unsliced bacon on the kitchen table.
Ah.
The table was also set for two.
Ah.
So, McCoy had been making breakfast and had gone into the room to wake Gacy up, forgetting that he had the knife. Presumably. Like, obviously, we don't know that for sure, but we can kind of infer that from the evidence.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sucks to be that kid.
You know what? Maybe not. I take back what I said. Maybe not.
Shit.
Well, Gacy said in a later interview that immediately after killing McCoy, he felt totally drained, but that as he stabbed McCoy and was killing him, that he experienced a quote mind-numbing orgasm, and again quote, that's when I realised that death was the ultimate thrill.
Ah.
Oh no.
So yeah,
that was definitely
completely accidental killing,
So
but realised that he enjoyed it.
yeah. So okay. So you know what? I don't take back what I said. Maybe that is what made him snap. But like, he had those tendencies. But maybe that's what reawoke those tendencies.
Yeah. Also, why did he stab him? Like he had already subdued
Yeah.
the kid, but he's like,
I would imagine
Fight
I would imagine that McCoy was still fighting him.
Well,
Like
yeah, especially if someone's wrestling the knife off you, you're
He-
probably
he'd
trying to
already
get
got-
away
he'd
to
already
create
got out of his
space.
hand though.
Yeah, I know, but he was still trying to wrestle McCoy to
Yeah,
the ground.
yeah, they were still fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'd gotten the knife, but he was still wrestling with him, because I assume the kid was trying to create space between them.
Probably, yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why he kicked him in the stomach, to be like, whoa, okay, chill.
I guess.
Yeah, I imagine he had no idea why Gacy was coming after him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's just been making breakfast.
Especially if you put your hand up. If you put your hands up, but then accidentally cut his forearm, it looks a bit sus.
Not bad.
Because
Yeah.
obviously Gacy's going to be
Yeah.
like, you just cut me, that was your intention, you now die.
Yeah.
Get stabbed, motherfucker.
Yeah. So, McCoy was buried in the crawl space, and his grave was later covered with a layer of concrete.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah. So after this, it was.
How does he clean up that much blood though? Like, humans bleed a lot. Like, that would just seem tiresome to clean like 4 times a year, 4 to 5 times a year blood. Like,
Well, no, most pretty much all of his victims were strangled. Like that was the only one who was
true.
stabbed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So.
Okay, well then going on to other murderers.
Yeah,
that stab people.
Yeah,
Too much effort, man.
just going through this. So it was about a year between this first murder and the second one.
Yeah.
But also in 1973, 2 years. 2 years between the first and second one. Sorry, looking at the dates.
Yeah.
So between the two, in 1973, there's an incident with a. Hold on, no, wait. Going back to my other page, stop making me flip through my notes, jeez. July 1st of 1972 is when he's married to Carol Hoff. Yeah, so that's when their wedding
He
was.
gets married after the first murder.
Yes.
So where the hell was she?
That's a good question.
Pretty sure she was living there because they moved into the house shortly after they were engaged.
Did they
which was
not
back
share a
in
bed?
August. Hey?
Did they not share a bed?
Probably. I would imagine she was out of town.
She should.
I don't know.
Especially
God,
if the
same.
table's only set for 2. Bit sus, just saying, where was the wife?
I don't know.
Where was the wife?
In the pit.
I don't know. It's possible that they hadn't moved in at that point, but
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe she was still getting her affairs in order.
It's possible.
excuse me. Yeah. So
Yeah.
after that, obviously there's a what are you doing? There's a long dry period between the first and second murders, roughly 2 years. But in 1973, Gacy and one of his teenage employees travelled to Florida to look at a property that Gacy had bought. And on the first night in Florida, Gacy raped him in their hotel room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, did he buy a property, or did
Gacy
is that
had
the story?
No, Gacy had bought a property. He had bought a property in Florida because at this point, his business is taking off.
Yeah.
And yeah, he and one of his employees had
Taking a
gone
trip
down there to
okay.
look at it. Yeah. Once they got back to Chicago, the employee drove to Gacy's house and beat him in the front yard.
Oh.
Gacy told his wife that he'd been attacked for refusing to pay him for poor quality work. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, he waited until getting back to Chicago. Did they not drive together?
No, they flew.
Did they
I
not
would
fly
imagine.
together?
Well, they fly, from Chicago to Florida. It's like-
my joke.
That's like the length of the country, basically.
Where is I know where Florida is. Where's
Chicago's
Chicago?
Chicago is in Illinois. Like, it's one of the North states.
Oh,
Like
okay,
it's
yeah,
on the
makes
border with
sense.
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. This is odd.
It's like around. I'm pretty sure it's around the Great Lakes area. Yeah.
So he waited all that time to beat up Gacy? If he could beat
Yeah.
up Gacy as well. How did he let it happen? You know what? Let's not
Yeah,
go into it.
this whole thing
I don't
hurts
know.
my brain.
I don't know. I don't have any like further details around that incident.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the second murder was, according to Gacy, around January 1974. This victim is unidentified. But this one was.
Oh, so that employee just moved on with their lives?
I guess. Yeah.
Beat him and then fucked off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this one was a lot closer to his regular MO that he would use going forward.
Yeah.
The victim was strangled. The body was placed in the closet before burial, and the cloth rags being stuffed in the throats. That came about because this particular body was leaking bodily fluids from the mouth and nose and stained the carpet, apparently. So that's why he did that. Yeah.
So he actually did that like after it was dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And this body was also buried in the crawl space.
Okay, so just some random person.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about.
And by this point, Gacy had quit his job at the restaurant to focus on PDM.
Yeah.
On his contracting business.
Okay.
And by 1975, Gacy had told his wife that he was bisexual. And on Mother's Day that year, after they had sex that day, and after that he informed her that that would be the last time that they would have sex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Harsh.
Yeah. So.
So he wasn't bisexual, he was just straight up gay.
Yeah.
He just decided.
I don't know, because he was still, up until then, he was still banging.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
with women. He
Still
had two
vibing.
kids with his first wife, and
Yeah.
obviously he was still doing it with his second
Yeah.
wife, so I don't know. I don't know.
I guess.
It's possible that he was actually gay,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Maybe he was just doing it out of necessity.
Poor woman. Mother's Day just been like, you know what? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. But yeah, after this, he started spending a lot of evenings away from home. He would return in the early hours of the morning, saying that he'd been working late. She would often see him bringing teenage boys into the garage, living teenage boys. Just want to clarify
Yes.
that. And she would.
Move.
she kept finding gay pornography, presumably magazines, and men's wallets and ID inside the house.
Okay, so that's when it gets concerning, because especially at this point, he's like, I'm gonna say what, late 20s, early 30s?
75. I think he was born in 42, so he's early 30s. Yeah.
And yet,
Okay.
when he's bringing teenage boys in, she's like, you know what, this is a bit concerning. No?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. She confronted him at least once about it,
No, okay.
but he basically just said, "None of your business. Stay out."
And
of it."
so she was like, okay.
Alrighty, honey
At
buns.
this point,
Yeah. Alright, hon,
This
you
is
do
fine.
you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
Did she stay married with him until then?
she's still married. Yep. Yep. They're still married since what, 72? Did I say? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. July 1972. So 1975, they're still married, and this is also, when his business is expanding, by 75, it's doing real well.
Yeah.
Gacy's working up to 16 hours a day. And
still had time to kill. Wow.
yeah. And skipping forward a little bit. Oh my god, you just there.
Shut.
It took so long to register. Oh my god, you need to stop.
I'm not amused in any way. Jesus Christ.
I'll just pretend it's because you're sick and your sense of humour is also lacking now.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Funny.
In 77, he became a supervisor for PE Systems, which was a contracting firm which specialised in the remodelling of drugstores. That'll become important later on.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine so.
And between these two businesses, he was working on like 4 projects simultaneously sometimes, and he was regularly travelling to other states. And by 1978, PDM's annual revenue was over 200,000 US, which in 2021 is around 800,000, which roughly correlates to 1.14 million in New Zealand.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, a year from a contracting business, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. And ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for.
The moment? What?
Through his membership with the local order, what's it called? The Loyal Order of Moose. It's one of those, gentlemen's organisations like the Freemasons. Through his membership with the lodge, he became aware of the Jolly Joker Clown Club.
Oh no.
I completely forgot about the whole clown thing.
Yeah. So the club's members often would perform at fundraising events, parades.
What, like Lions Club sort of thing, like?
Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's like a fundraising club. Business openings, children's hospitals, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in late 1975, Gacy joined the Jolly Joker Clown Club and created his own clown characters, Pogo and Patches.
Oh no.
So that's where Patches comes from, probably. Patches the clown is like a big thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
That's like every clown name is just like Patches.
Oh, probably. Yeah, and
I'm
sure I've heard of at least one clown named Pogo.
Yeah.
Or at least one other clown named Pogo. Yeah.
So if a clown ever comes up to you and goes, "Hi, I'm Patches," or "Hi, I'm Pogo," you're like, "Run!"
Back the fuck off, bitch.
Your idols are not what I look up to.
No thanks.
Oh no.
He described Pogo as a happy clown, whereas Patches was a more serious character. Yeah.
Wait, so 1975, so he's only killed, 2 people at this point?
Yes. Yeah, 2 victims.
So in 3 years...
Sorry, can I point out the fact we're on 2 murders, and what's the time on that recording?
About an hour.
An hour.
Jesus Christ.
But still, in 3 years, he kills 30 people.
What? 2
so
years?
There was an 8-year killing... No, sorry, 7-year killing spree.
Yeah, so,
And it's now, we're at 75, so in 3 years...
The clown is the key.
He kills 30 people.
Yeah, roughly.
Damn. Man got busy. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Remember when I made that joke about having a break and then killing like 10 people a year? What?
Well...
So he didn't really earn any money from, performing as a clown.
Yeah.
He said that it allowed him to regress into childhood. So yeah, some weird psychological stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would stay in costume after a performance and go for a drink at the local pub before going home. Yeah.
Interesting.
Or bar, I should say. Americans have bars, not pubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you're probably aware, this is what led to his nickname as the Killer Clown.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. So, in May of 1975, Gacy hired a 15-year-old named Anthony Antonucci to work at PDM. And in July, he went to Antonucci's home. They drank a bottle of wine together and watched a heterosexual stag film. Again.
Was this child not... Oh, they went to Gacy's home.
No, he was at
No.
Antonucci's home.
Yeah, so did he not live with his parents?
I'd
No?
assume they were out. Yeah, I don't know. Probably.
Okay. Yep, fair, yep.
And after this, Gacy wrestled him to the floor and cuffed his hands behind his back. But one of the cuffs was loose. Antonucci managed to free his arm while Gacy was out of the room. And Antonucci had been a wrestler in high school.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Well, he was a wrestler in high school. And he basically jumped him, managed to get the handcuff key from him, and cuffed Gacy's hands behind his back.
The old Uno reverse card right there.
Yeah, Gacy threatened him at first, and then calmed down and promised to leave if he would remove the handcuffs. Antonucci agreed, and Gacy left. And he would later recall that Gacy told him, "Not only are you the only one who got out of the cuffs, you got them on me." Which is, ugh.
What?
Yeah,
Gross.
not nice.
What the fuck?
If anyone was like, I promise I'll leave if you take them off. No.
No.
The answer is no. Leave with them on. Like.
That's when you call the police. Why do these people not call the police?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we come to the third murder, the second identified victim.
And he never came back for that kid. He just
Uh,
left. He was just like, well.
Yeah, no.
Probably too dodgy to go after him again.
Yeah, no.
I mean-
It was just this thing, and it, didn't really come up again.
That's the thing. There's so many just loose ends.
And yet
Yeah,
you
a
still
little
got
bit.
away with
And,
so much.
That's something that will also come up later on in the murders.
What, loose ends?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay, yep.
I can imagine testimonies and
Third
shit like
murder.
that.
Yes. This involves another of his employees, an 18-year-old named John Butkovich. And he disappeared on July 31st, 1975. His car was found parked out on a street corner. His jacket and wallet were still inside, and the keys were in the ignition. Butkovich had confronted Gacy the previous day over back pay. He basically hadn't been paid for 2 weeks. And after the disappearance, Butkovich's father had called Gacy, who claimed that he had run away, which, I guess they assumed at that point. And yeah, Gacy said, "Yeah, I'm happy to help search for him."
Oh no. Oh no.
The police questioned him, and he said that Butkovich and two friends had come to his house demanding the overdue wages, but they reached a compromise, and the three had left. And over the next 3 years, Butkovich's parents would call the police over 100 times, asking them to investigate Gacy again.
Jesus.
Yeah. He would later admit to encountering Butkovich, getting out of his car on the corner where it was left, what?
What?
Sorry, this is... Yes, okay, Butkovich, yeah. Sorry, I mentioned Gacy's car, and it was confusing. Sorry. I must have missed this section when I was reading over my notes earlier, sorry. So Butkovich approached Gacy's car, and, said that he wanted to talk to him, Gacy let Butkovich into his car, drove him to his home, where he said, let's settle this, we'll get you paid, and sort this out. Offered him a drink at his house, and he did the handcuff trick.
Yeah.
He got his hands cuffed
He
behind
goes
his
there
back.
to get paid, and he's like, yeah, I'll go along this
Yeah, if
little
I go to
magic
someone's
trick.
house and they're like, "You want to see a trick?" I'm like, "No, pay me, and I want to leave."
Yeah.
No,
Um,
the fuck?
Yeah, so he stored the body in the garage. He was intending to bury it later in the crawl space there. But his wife and stepdaughters returned earlier than he expected. So he, instead of burying him in the crawl space, he buried the body under the concrete floor of the garage. Because he had an empty space where he was intending to dig a drain tile. So he
Filled it with the body instead.
yeah. Yeah. I know I shouldn't be laughing.
How?
but it's- yeah.
So
It's
there was
rough
like an
stuff.
empty spot where there was no concrete that he just kind of.
How convenient that was. Yeah.
Pretty
Fuck's
much.
sakes.
Yeah, we're getting this is getting to time, so I'll read this next section and then we'll wrap it up and continue with the murders next week. This is a long series.
Did you think we were going to get through
there's-
all the murders today?
I was hoping.
You're mental. Fucking hell.
I mean, surely we just push it to an hour and a half.
Well, they're not all that long. I mean, if we're gonna be like talking about,
Just continue, and we'll see where we go.
Okay. Yeah. So, in October of 1975, Carol and John have a heated argument over her incorrectly balancing a checkbook. And at this
I know
point,
how that goes.
Yeah. Well, at this point, this is when she asks for a divorce.
For argument.
Yeah. Like this is the breaking point, basically.
Yeah.
Gacy agreed.
And they never did it.
Never again. But she and her daughters continued to live at the house until February the following year. So about 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And they then moved into their own apartment. And on March 2nd, 1976, the divorce was finalised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So wife number 2 is gone.
Yeah.
and Gacy is on his own.
He can do whatever he wants.
With the 3 bodies.
Yeah. Ugh. So on July 26th of 1976, Gacy picked up 18-year-old David Cram. He was hitchhiking. Gacy offered him a job, and he began working that same night. On August 21st, Cram moved into Gacy's house, and the next day was his 19th birthday, when they had several drinks, while Gacy was dressed as Pogo for some reason. Yeah, don't know. I don't know why.
Okay.
But
It's
again,
party costume, obviously.
again, he used the handcuff trick. Although Cram's hands were cuffed in front of him rather than behind him this time, and Gacy was kind of like he was swinging him around by the handcuff chain. They're drunk. They're drunk at this point.
That's true.
And then said that he intended to rape him.
Oh.
Yeah. Cram kicked Gacy in the face and freed himself from the handcuffs after that.
Jesus.
Yeah. And about a month after that.
Fuck.
Gacy appears at his bedroom door.
Wait, did he continue to live with Gacy?
He continued to live there, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
For a month.
Yes.
After someone's like, I'm gonna rape you, they're like, he's
Well,
still joking.
A bit longer than a month. But yeah, Gacy appears at his door in August, intending to rape him. And he says to him, Dave, you really don't know who I am. Maybe it would be good if you give me what I want.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Basically refused, and Gacy left and said, you ain't no fun. That's what he said, yeah.
What the fuck?
Cram would move out on October 5th.
Good.
Yeah, he
That's
left.
still what? Oh, another month later. Right?
2 months after that, yeah.
Yeah.
And he would quit working for PDM, although he would occasionally do contract work for him over the next couple of years. Yeah, don't know why, but...
Are people dumb?
Yes, a little bit.
I wonder if he asked multiple times for him to do the handcuff trick again.
I
wouldn't
want
be
to see a
surprised.
handcuff trick.
Yeah, possibly.
So you did this
Trust me, this
before.
one's different.
And shortly after he moved out, an 18-year-old named Michael Rossi moved in. He'd been working for PDM since May of that year, and he ended up living with Gacy until April 1977.
Until he died, or until he moved out?
No, he lived. Rossi lived.
Okay.
Also, Cram also lived. These two survived.
Also,
Right.
just Gacy's not a very good murderer either. If he's just like, guess what, you're about to die.
Well, he never actually said that he was going to kill him. You know, he just threatened to rape him.
I mean, he never said he was going to kill the
That's
first kid
pretty
either.
bad as well.
Yeah. So Rossi would sometimes assist Gacy with his clowning activities. Yeah. It says specifically at grand openings of businesses.
Yeah.
Gacy would be dressed as Pogo, and Rossi would perform as Patches.
Oh.
Yeah, so they were occasionally clowning together. These
Prepare for trouble and make it double.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck? And no suspicions from there.
Yeah, no.
Unless he participated.
So,
yeah, it's like now we kill together.
So, do we want to start going through the murders? There's a lot of them. Or do we want to leave that for next week?
We've gone through three, haven't we? Out of
We have.
Yeah.
29 that we go through.
Is it just like murders from now on? Just like dum 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 dum?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, there's like other information in there. I think we should leave it for next
Yep.
week. Yeah.
Good place to start.
Okay.
I
Cool.
reckon.
At least we've now gotten to the point where we know, like, the clown. He is the clown now.
He's the
Yes.
clown man.
Yeah.
And we've gotten... I love how last week we were just like, oh yeah, this week's going to be all the murders. So, I mean, we still talked about, like, a lot of backstory beforehand. Like, he's just a very messed up man.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I thought Ted Bundy was bad, but, like, this is almost worse in a weird way.
Yeah. There's a reason that these guys are well known.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just
Is
more
Quick-
interesting
is he
how
still
dumb
alive?
people are.
No.
Okay.
No. Gacy is dead.
Good.
Oh wait, he's born in 42, wasn't he?
Yes.
I mean, I
He
guess that
was.
would still make him like 80 something. So
Gacy is dead as a doornail.
very dead, but like what?
Yes.
They still make him 80 something. He'd be like near 100.
From 42.
He was born in 42.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm the one with the
He'd be
bad
like-
math.
he'd be
Oh
like-
god.
77, 78, something like that. 79.
Yeah, I
something
can't
like that.
count,
Late
eh?
Oh,
70s.
did
Late 70s, Gacy would be, but he's dead.
yeah? When did he die in like prison, or did he like electric chair or sort of thing, or like?
I mean, do you want spoilers?
Oh, see, I don't mind spoilers, but I guess we probably shouldn't. Is it like part of the episode?
I mean, we'll
It
be
can be.
We'll be covering
What
it
about
at
the
the
episode?
end.
Don't
Yeah.
say it.
Okay, we'll leave it then. We'll leave it.
Okay. I mean, if you guys really want to know, you can like Google it, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, Well, so we will leave that there with the divorce and the first 3 murders.
Yes,
Very good.
another one bites the dust.
Yeah. Gacy Part 2, The Clown Killer Rises.
Yes.
Gacy rises.
What's 3? The fall of the clown.
It's murder time.
It's a murder time.
I absolutely have titles and thumbnails for these episodes.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
god. Jesus Christ.
these are all fantastic. But yeah, so the next episode, I guess we kind of semi-speed through the murders just so we can get to like
A little bit, yeah.
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 What?
Mm.
I,
It's
I
like-
suspect we might actually get to 4 parts with this.
I feel like
Oh,
4 parts
God.
might be pushing it, so I feel like we might just need to speed through it a bit.
It'll be a long episode.
That's, you know what? I'm sure a long episode will be fine. I watch podcasts that are like 2.5 hours long, so
Hey.
Yeah.
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
exactly. Let us know if you prefer like the multiple parts or just like the longer episodes.
Yeah.
Long boys.
Because see, if it was just
Alright.
like normal videos, I prefer the short ones. But if there's podcasts that you like, you're almost prepared to be sitting there for a long time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or it's just something that you're playing in the background, so it's like it's almost better to not have to like skip through, you know?
Yeah. Okay. No, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
We'll see how much we get through next week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Cool. Gacy Part 2. Done. Yes.
I really wanted to get a soundboard. Like, I just want to be sitting here with like
Yeah.
buttons, so you'll say something, I'll be like,
Soundboard mixer.
Yeah.
You know, consolidate.
I want to be the
everything.
sound person.
Yeah, and then they play them all at the wrong time.
I,
The
I
wrong
accidentally
comedic
hit the
time.
wrong button, and it's like, aha! I'm like, oh shit.
Sort of like a clown.
Oh man,
Oh,
I'd
that's
have to
terrible.
put like labels on what each one are, because otherwise I'll just push the wrong. Like it meant to be like an ooh, and like instead it's just.
It'd just be a laugh track over a really gruesome thing. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
See Daisy?
Oh, man.
I
Would
mean,
not be
we
good.
would also do that intentionally. So.
Oh yeah, probably. Not gonna lie, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, Gacy Part 2. This has been the Zero Function podcast. Jen, where can we find you?
I am on YouTube at I am Genevieve, and I guess you can also find me on Instagram, which is also I am Genevieve, but just with 2 dots between the I and the Genevieve, I guess. Yeah.
Conall, where are you?
I am on YouTube at Rig, I believe. Yep, for capital R. Had to remember that. And on Twitch, I'm RigMonkey0, also for capital R.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. And
Easy to
I
find.
am nowhere. If you really want to find me, I'm what is it, Toasty Sandwich on pretty much everything except Facebook. I don't use Facebook because no.
And you don't post anyway, so it's like
no, I don't post. I don't
pointless.
post anything. So yeah, if you really want to follow me, sure, but it's not worth it. Yeah.
There's nothing I can offer you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yikes.
do we have Rex this week? Recommendations for the audience.
I
Oh,
was like
shit.
T-Rex, Rex.
What?
Like what?
No.
Because I thought you meant Rex as in like R-E-X, and I was like,
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
yeah,
for
do we
some
have
reason.
Rex? And I was like, do we have a mascot? Like,
I don't know. I forgot about it. I'll be honest.
no.
No. Okay. I mean, I'll give mine then. I have a musical recommendation this week.
Oh, nice.
A member of former member of a comedy sketch group on YouTube, Sugar Pine 7. You might be familiar with them. One of the members, Clayton James, who played Kib, he has been working on his music career since they quit doing YouTube, and he and his band Wales Talk released their first single
Oh, very nice.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's called Left the Car Running. It's very good. It's got that kind of California rock kind of sound to it, you know, like a Walk the Moon, Passion Pit kind of sound.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's really good. It's really good.
Oh, solid.
Very much
Okay.
recommend that
When you
track.
said
and-
musical recommendation, I thought you meant like Grease and things like that.
No.
Musical.
no,
It's just like, oh,
just
yeah,
music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so check out Wales Talk on Spotify. There's the music video for Left the Car Running is also up on YouTube. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a recommendation, but I'm trying to think of a question right now. But all I can think of is, if you were a color, what one would you be and why? And if you were a tree, what would you be and why? That's the only ones I could think of right now, like on the spot. I'm so bad at coming up with questions on the spot. I love Truth or Dare, but I hate playing it because everyone's just like, they're like, oh, truth, and you sit there like, what? 'Cause like if it's not like interesting, and they're
Wow.
like, wow, that's all you could think of, and you're like,
Yeah.
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 No.
Connor, what anime have you been watching
What anime? have you
while
watched?
you've been sick?
Oh shit.
he's like, I don't remember.
I was actually re-watching some of My Hero Academia because I wanted to go back to it,
Banging anime.
and then I actually watched the second movie, which I did really like, because the last fight scene was fucking lit. Love
Okay.
that shit.
My Hero Academia,
Yeah.
I will always recommend.
There we go. There's your recommendation.
It's a very well done, simple concept.
Yeah, it's a
That's-
simple
that's what it
concept
is.
that, what do you call it? Like, it's just enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
Like,
it's nothing amazing. No, like there's not too many serious like emotional stuff or like
yeah,
it's not or like
it's just cool.
ideas. Yeah, it's just like this is what it is, and they did it good.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Cool.
Wow, you
Alright.
really make it sound like the best anime ever to watch.
What do you mean?
No, I know that
No.
it is. It is. It gets a lot of good, like, acclaim
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
from various circles. So of people who know what they're
It
talking
is
about.
very good. And
I've
it's
not watched a lot of
consistent
anime,
as well.
so-
It's not like Sword Art Online. That was good. I'm still
I've-
so salty.
I've heard.
I know
there
a lot
was
of people
some
didn't
drama
like the
around that,
first
yeah.
season over.
I
so-
love Sword Art Online, but the most recent like it's still one of my favorite animes. But like the most recent season, I'm just kind of like.
I still need to watch it, but I keep putting it off.
Yeah, like it's gone real left field. Like before, when people were like, "Oh, the whole arc and things has just gone to crap," I was like, "No, it's still good. It's still good now." Like, yeah, it's real. Like, it's becoming like hard to defend.
Right. See, my anime experience is Ghost in the Shell and the first 20 episodes of Death Note. So that's about
I
it.
haven't even seen Death
You
Note,
got
so-
Death Note
I mean,
there.
Yeah.
it was good. I enjoyed it. It just other stuff
I-
got in the way.
I know
Yeah,
Death
and he was
Note
Tokyo
was
Ghoul.
amazing, but like I couldn't get through. It wasn't my kind of thing. But I know Death Note is very good.
Do you know what I couldn't get through? Full Metal Alchemist.
Were you watching Brotherhood or
Yeah.
The original.
you were watching Brotherhood?
Yeah, I think I watched like 3 episodes.
Brotherhood is the good one.
Yeah,
I
I
love
think
Brotherhood.
I think I watched like 3
Didn't,
episodes.
didn't the original have like a really different ending to the manga?
I
And then
do.
Brotherhood is a lot more faithful.
Dude, that shit was off the rails. I watched Alchemist first, non-Brotherhood, right?
Right.
I went to Brotherhood, I'm like, what the fuck was the first one on? Like, I had no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of.
Yeah, do you remember the homunculus woman with the claws?
I've not seen it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows?
No.
No.
But anyway, what
Anyway,
about her?
she's like, she's one of the 7 sins or whatever. I think she's Last of Wrath or something, but like, in the first Alchemist version or whatever, she was like the main story. And when she was like in the second one, the proper one, she was only like one part of it.
Yeah.
But she was like the main story for some reason. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It made no sense to me. I'm like, okay, cool. At least it's how I remember it.
So is Brotherhood like literally the exact like it starts from the beginning again? It's just better.
Yeah, it's just fucking miles better.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
Alright. Find us on. I was going to say Facebook,
New.
Instagram, and Twitter. I swear we'll start
At
posting.
ZeroFunction Pod.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. I feel like one of us needs to take over Instagram and one of us needs to take over Twitter because trying to do both, none of us are doing anything. But
I mean, you basically just post the same thing, really.
I mean, yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
But you know, I can do like polls on Twitter. Polls are cool. I like interacting with polls. Like on Instagram stories, it's like, what do you like? This or this, and I'm just like, doop, doop. It's just fun.
Oh, see, I don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I just get bored and like.
40-year-old woman.
Alright. Cool.
Jesus Christ.
Peace.
Bye. Stay away from clowns.